Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today. Before we begin, we just wanted to include a few housekeeping items. First, closed captioning is available for this program. You can view the closed captions by clicking Show Subtitle at the bottom of your screen. This program is also being recorded and will be shared afterwards with all registrants. If you have any questions for any of our speakers, please submit them using the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. We are incredibly grateful to each of you who continue to tune in to our regular updates on the rapidly evolving situation in Ukraine. Under the leadership of Lisa Levy and Michael Friedman, our Ukraine Emergency Campaign co-chairs, and in partnerships with synagogues, rabbis, Jewish organizations across this community, we are proud that we have raised nearly $1.4 million in support of Ukraine's Jewish community. Even more incredibly, more than 2,700 unique individuals in this community have contributed to this effort through Federation. Your ongoing support has been truly inspirational and enables much of what we will hear today to happen. My name is Zach Brighton. I'm the Chief Development Officer for the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, and I'm honored to be with you today, stepping in for our CEO, Gil Prus, who is currently on the ground in Poland for a visit to the border with Ukraine. To date, the money raised has been allocated to 11 different organizations operating on the ground and in the region, including the Jewish Agency for Israel, JDC, World Ort, United Hatzalah, Hillel International, Hayas Nefesh B'Nefesh, Chabad, and more. We're fortunate today to be joined by two of our incredible colleagues from two of these fantastic global partners, with whom Federation has been working on the ground in Ukraine with for decades and throughout the last several weeks. Amira Ahronoviz is the CEO and Director General of the Jewish Agency for Israel, and Ariel Zwang is the CEO of the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, or JDC. Before we welcome Amira to share her insight, and then Ariel, we'll hear a brief message from our CEO, Gil Prus, with a fresh update from his time on the border with Ukraine.
Hi everyone, I'm speaking to you today from the Lublin Yeshiva, a great center of learning that was destroyed in World War II. While I cannot be with you today, I will report back after my trip to the border of Ukraine. Today you'll be hearing from two incredible leaders, Ariel Zwang and Amira Ahronoviz. As you listen to them, I urge you to think about not only what they're currently doing, but what enabled both JDC and the Jewish Agency to react so quickly and make such a difference in the lives of so many people. What they are able to do is not just because of what they've put in place today or in the last 3 weeks, but what we collectively have put in place for the past many decades. The work that we are able to do is because of our constant support and regular connections that have been developed. It enabled the Jewish Agency to bring 100 professionals into place very quickly to serve the needs of tens of thousands of refugees. It enabled JDC to reach out and use their database of 40,000 people in Ukraine to make sure that people are connected with the needs that they have. This is what we have been able to do. We do this in times of crisis, and we do this day in and day out. Thank you. It's hard to imagine what it feels like being here. People walking across after leaving their homes many 5-7 days ago, waiting on the border 12-16 hours before they're able to cross, carrying everything that they own as they enter Poland, not knowing if they're going to be able to go back, if ever, or when. Waiting on the other side are many, many volunteers from around the world. In front of me are dozens of tens and thousands of people waiting to help them, to give out food, to give out information, and to enable them to enter a new country as refugees. The flow is constant behind me, and you can see as people cross by foot from one country to another, not knowing what the future is going to look like. It's pretty humbling to be able to represent the community and be here. Thank you for everything that you do and everything that you have done.
And while Gil is there, we know that Amira and Ariel and their incredible colleagues have been working around the clock to ensure that all of that is possible. And so Amira, without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today. I would invite you on behalf of the Jewish Agency to share with us your update and again, express our incredible gratitude for the relentless and tireless work that you're doing.
So thank you, Zach, and thank you, Gil, and the whole Greater Washington community. It's a great honor to be here today and share with you a bit of what we're all part of in the last couple of weeks, and what I believe would continue to be probably for quite a long term. I'm sure that all of you, consuming from media and in other ways, the stories and the pictures and the sceneries will agree with me that we are at a historic moment of time where we're evidencing, I would say, the biggest Jewish refugee flee since World War II, maybe the biggest refugee flee in general, definitely in Europe. The magnitude is one that I think none of us could have imagined, even in the last couple of months when the tension was out there between Ukraine and Russia. But I think what's very clear to us in the work on the ground in the last couple of weeks is that this is huge in its magnitude of involving personal stories, which are really saddening and difficult to absorb and no less than horrifying. In the sense of tens of thousands of people, 2.2 million who've already gone out of Ukraine, but tens of thousands of people every day running out for their lives to save their lives into all the surrounding countries from Ukraine, and many others who are still stuck and are unable to go out for various reasons. And so I would say the moral responsibility of ours as Jews in this world, serving humanity and working out of just clear compassion and empathy has not been, couldn't be more critical than what it is, and definitely with the 200,000 of Jewish community members from all across Ukraine. And so the Jewish Agency, which is working in the routine all across Ukraine in many fields and areas, we found ourselves, just like JDC and Chabad and all the other very important organizations, really dealing with no less than saving lives, providing the very basic needs of helping people to save their lives. I'll share very briefly some slides just to give you the sense of the work that we've been engaged in the last couple of weeks. And as Gil mentioned, I should start by saying that I couldn't have shared the critical saint work that we're doing to save lives in the last couple of weeks there if it wasn't for the support we're getting from you and from all our other partners and donors in North America and across the world. Our ability to be there today sits only on the base of being there much before on the work that we do on the ground. And so since the war broke, and we look at February 24th as kind of the day that the real war started, I can tell you that we received over 23,000 calls into our emergency hotline. I'm speaking to you right now from our emergency global call center, where just 3.5 weeks ago, we had about 5 workers that are addressing calls coming in from Ukraine and Russia. We now have more than 50. We grew from 5 to 50, working 24 hours to receive those calls. And I can tell you that out of those, more than 8,000 have been people who have clearly expressed an immediate need to make Aliyah and come to Israel and open Aliyah files. Just to give a reference, in the whole year of 2021, there were 3,000 Olim from Ukraine to Israel. I'm talking of more than 8,000 in 2 weeks. And we see that number keep on growing. And so we anticipate the huge Aliyah wave that is currently taking place and would continue to develop. And the main thing that we have done immediately is that we have set around 5 border crossings in Romania, Poland, Moldova, and Hungary, what we call Aliyah transfer centers or facilities, whereby we are accepting any refugees that are coming out through those cross borders and have interest in coming to Israel or in being part of the Jewish community. But we start by working with the communities and rabbis on the ground in Ukraine and helping them to evacuate. So providing buses and other forms of transportation to help people to evacuate. We currently in our facilities hold more than 8,000 beds, where as of today, we have more than 5,000 people that are currently residing in our facilities. As well as in Ukraine, in Lvov, in Western Ukraine, we're operating one of our facilities there to enable people to come to a stop at Western Ukraine before they go out. Our teams are working 24/7 there. We have sent more than 50 dedicated senior people from Israel to work on those 5 cross borders and collaborating with all the other local organizations, as well as the government of Israel ministries that are on the ground, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as Nativ, which is the Prime Minister's office arm that deals with the providing the visas and the eligibility. And so I can tell you from being in the field just a few days ago, both in Poland and in Hungary, that there's nothing that can describe it until you see it, just as Gil shared. You come to those places and you meet the hundreds of people who are coming from 2 or 3, 4 days on the road, some of them spending 20 hours in a caravan of a train, which is suitable for 50 people, but there are 200 people in that caravan in the dark with no food, then coming to the border, sometimes being stuck there for more than 20 hours in the border. And then being able to cross the border, coming to our facilities, exhausted, confused, concerned, terrified. And I'd say what's mostly is striking is the fact that it's mostly women and kids. Given the mandatory army draft in Ukraine, men from the age of 18 to 60 are prevented from going out of the country. And so what we're seeing really, we call it an exodus of the women, very brave women who have had to take maybe the most difficult decision one can make in their life to separate the family, run away with their kids to save themselves and the kids, leaving behind the husbands, the fathers, the grandparents, and hoping that by that they will at least save themselves and maybe one day at some point be able to reunite with their families. I can tell you that meeting with them personally and hearing those personal stories is really heartbroken, but at the same time, their gratitude and their appreciation for the fact that we have been there. And I talk we as that collateral, we at the, not necessarily just us as an organization, all the efforts are very much appreciated for enabling them to come out and save themselves into a safe place. And from there, some would come to Israel, others would relocate into other communities. When we look at Ukraine at the map, you can see here all those countries where we've had the cross borders and that we're working on. But what one needs to see is that the need to evacuate people coming from all across Ukraine, whether it's from Kharkov and Dnipro, Kiev, Odessa, or Lvov, in all of those places, there were vibrant communities, hundreds of community organizations, rabbis and communities. And what we're seeing in the last couple of days is really a rising demand to get help to be evacuated out, sometimes very severe and complex cases of people with physical limitations, with medical stories. I know that even today, the mission from JFNA, which Gil is part of, was present in a very complex evacuation of a family with medical issues. And so we're really dealing with saving each and every individual. I'll say that when we think about the evacuation, one needs to understand that there are many routes by which this is being done. This is a very complex operation that is a collaborative effort between the rabbis, the communities, and other organizations. And we're working day and night to make sure that anyone who's able to go out would be able to come out. And I'll just say that on a personal level, when I arrived in Poland, I really was accompanying the first Olim flight to come to Israel. That was about a week and a half ago. Since then, we had over 2,000 Olim that had already come to Israel. You can see here on the left side of the screen, myself meeting part of those Olim. And as I said, you can see mainly women and kids and old populations. I think this is the most clear characteristic of this Aliyah. And on the right side, as I've mentioned, is this phenomena of young women coming with their kids. The woman you see here, her name is Sasha. As I was meeting and spending time in our facility in Warsaw, she came in. She is 23 years old. She came with her 2-month baby, as you can see, only with this blanket. Terrified, exhausted, very confused, and leaving her husband and the father of her 2-month baby back in Kiev. What she shared with me is that she couldn't bear anymore with the consecutive nights of bombings and the baby not being able to stay ease and calm, and that she knew that she had to make that hard decision of running away, at least to save the baby and herself. And this is only one example. We're, of course, providing all of those with the basic needs of food and hot shower and a clean bed and equipment, and helping them either to come to Israel or find themselves a place in the local communities. And as we say in Hebrew, when you save one soul, it's like saving a whole world of its own. And this is what we're dealing with 24/7 with all our teams on the ground, along with the other organizations, is really enabling those individuals to somehow have an ability to be in a safe place and embark on their new life, at least for a period of time. It is important to say, and by that I'll conclude, that when one thinks about the broader implications of this humanitarian crisis, this will affect not only Ukraine, but also the community surroundings. We're seeing Poland and Hungary and Romania, the local communities, suddenly having to open their arms, their homes, their organizations, to provide services for thousands of refugees coming. Some may stay there, at least for a period of time. Some will move into additional countries. So this will change the nature of those communities. And so our responsibility is also to help those communities to be able to step up to this responsibility. And remember that this is a long-term crisis, because even when the fire at some point hopefully will stop, we don't know whether they would have anywhere to go back to. But on the other hand, many of them would want to reunite with their loved ones and their families and be able maybe to come back and collect some assets or means that they left in their homes. And so we will see here, I think, over time, an implication that we would help to be with them and help them over a longer period, as well as the thousands that we believe would come to Israel and start their life in Israel. Coming as refugees with nothing requires a whole different effort than in previous Aliyah waves. And I'll end by saying that the government of Israel, which we are part of all the emergency forums in Israel, is very seriously looking at this situation, allocating both resources and different governmental arms and ministries to holistically and in an integrated way address this. I can testify that even the Prime Minister himself on a personal level is monitoring that and taking part in some of those emergency tables that are taking place a few times a day. And the government is very serious in stepping in and providing many ways of help and support and resources on the ground in the cross borders, as well as when they come to Israel. So I want to just end by saying that I want to thank all the current support that we have been given from your community, and share with you that the needs, of course, are growing and changing, and we're looking forward to continue to work with you as well as with our other partners. But you, all of you, should feel very proud already that any of what I just shared, all of those thousands of souls that we've been able to save up until now, you're already a part of. And maybe that's the main difference from 75 years ago, that during this crisis, the Jewish people is in a state of an ability to help to save those lives all across the world. And the state of Israel, Toda La'el, thank God, is a strong state that steps in and takes responsibility to provide the safety and the needs to all of those refugees in a different situation than many decades ago. So maybe by that we can draw some comfort. Thank you.
Amira, thank you so much, both for that and for your continued leadership. We will, that was a lot. Questions are pouring in. I don't want anybody to think that the slides you skipped over are not important or won't be touched on. We're going to incorporate all of that. If you have continued questions, please continue to put them in the Q&A, and we'll get to that. Amira, we look forward to welcoming you back in a few minutes for the conversation. And before we turn it over to Ariel, we have a very short clip to show you as an update from the JDC.
Все планировали, что все хорошо, растим детей. Где дети будут учиться дома или где, никто не ожидал такого, не ожидал.
Война, началась война, начали обстрелы. Некуда деваться.
У нас все время включались тревоги, сигнал тревоги. Каждый раз мы сидим в коридоре. Извините. Прячутся в коридоре, потому что бомбоубежище непригодно у нас. Получается, там непригодно, чтобы прятаться. Сказали, что если спуститься в подвал, нас может завалить. Поэтому мы в коридоре оборудовали, там сидим все время в квартире.
Мы никогда не могли это представить. Начали бомбить, конечно.
Хесед нам помогли, Хесед выехать. Нам сообщили по телефону сообщение, что кто хочет выехать с детьми, спасти семью в такое-то время, чтобы пришли на вокзал, и на автобусах мы поехали в Молдавию.
Пока мы здесь, нам кормят. Все есть, комната, вот. Не могу сейчас собраться.
Hi, I'm Ariel Zwang. I'm the CEO of the American Jewish Joint Distribution Committee of JDC. And I want to echo what Gil said, what Zach said, what Amira said, which is everything that you see represented here is made possible by your continued generosity, not only today and in the last several weeks, but absolutely over the past decades in which you have supported the entire Jewish world, very much including JDC. And I'm sorry, there's a siren in my background. I hope that doesn't prevent you from hearing me. So thank you to all of our friends at the DC Federation for all that you are making possible. You know, JDC has been operating in Ukraine and in Russia for 30 years, and your core funding has funded that for decades. And what you just saw in the video actually speaks to two sides of the work of JDC. One, which was our ongoing work with tens of thousands of older people, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then, of course, you see what the current crisis is making necessary as well. In Ukraine, before the war, JDC had 4 field offices, 18 cheseds, these are social service organizations, and they were serving 40,000 Ukrainians, Jewish Ukrainians. So as Gil mentioned, there are 200,000 Ukrainian Jews, and JDC was serving about 20% of them. These are overwhelmingly people who are old, not mobile, not well, who need home care and other kinds of support in order to survive, as well as also thousands of children and families who needed help too. Our field office employees had dozens, our field offices had dozens of staff, the cheseds, the social service organization, hundreds of staff, and then the actual home care workers, thousands of people throughout Ukraine deployed on your behalf and in partnership with you to help tens of thousands of Jews who are in need. So what are we doing? What are we doing now after this war has been raging? First of all, we have a priority to maintain services. 80% of our elderly clients are still receiving care. And what that means is that home care workers are sleeping over in the homes of their clients. It means that calls to our hotlines, you know, the way the technology works and the way that the capabilities work now is that hotlines that used to be local to these chesed organizations are now being routed to Moldova and to Israel. And here, Russian speakers are manning these hotlines. We had a call from Kharkov a couple days ago. The caller was a young mother, called the local hotline. It was picked up in Moldova. It was relayed every 2 hours. We batched the calls and relayed them to the local chesed. This mother said, I have a baby and I'm running out of food. And we were able to deliver food to her and her baby that very day. So that's an example of how technology and flexibility are enhancing our ability to actually continue the kinds of operations that we were doing before the war. But now, and you also saw this in the film, we're turning to evacuation. And we're accelerating this process. And I want to say this is bigger than any one organization. We appreciate Jaffe, Chabad, many other organizations on the ground. Whoever gets a bus, everyone gets on and goes. And again, this crisis is bigger than any one organization. So we do this ourselves, we help others, and we fund self-evacuation. Sometimes, you know, someone's able to get in a car, but they need gas. And with the Claims Conference, which is an important funder and partner because a quarter of the elderly people that we serve in the former Soviet Union, in Ukraine particularly, in fact, are Holocaust survivors. So we're working with them to explore options for medical evacuation for people who are bedridden, and it really, really is miraculous and life-saving. Now, the third area is managing refugees. For the most part, these have been younger and more self-mobile people who are able to get up and go. Absolutely what Amira described about women and children being the primary people who are crossing the borders, but increasingly we are beginning to see older people as well. In some cases now, whole communities are coming. And we were receiving refugees, thousands of them, in Poland, where Amira was. I myself had been there also a couple of days before. Poland, Romania, Hungary, and Moldova, but now increasingly Bulgaria, Latvia. The refugees are proliferating throughout the countries of Europe, and we are directly caring for them every day. Fourth area, humanitarian aid. Food and medicine are becoming scarce. And so we have opened separate channels, planes via Moldova, via Poland, trucks between Romania and the Ukrainian border with tons and tons and tons of medicine and food to bring in from the outside what is not available to people on the inside. And again, this is something where we partner with many organizations to make this possible. I'll say briefly, and I can't say a lot about this, but a fifth area that we're focused on is we're worried about the Jews of Russia. It's actually a larger Jewish community, about twice the size of the Ukrainian community. There's no medication need there. There are drastic needs for trauma support. And JDC also serves 40,000 elderly Jews in Russia as well. With sanctions, US sanctions towards Russia, Russian sanctions about foreign organizations as well, we're very focused on maintaining our ability to provide services to those Jews as well. And finally, a new area is that we're developing the ability to systematically work with volunteers. So far, very, very narrow kinds of skills are needed. Russian speakers who can come for quite some time, who have skills in psychology and in other kinds of support, but the need for volunteers will increase as well. And so, that's a capability that we're developing too. I wanted to tell you about one family that I met because I think it's emblematic of the kinds of things that people are dealing with and the state that they're in. I was in Poland about 2 weeks ago, and Warsaw, you fly into Warsaw, is 4.5 hours from the border. And so we made our way over time, closer to the border. And as you get closer, of course, the refugees are more fresh in their experience. The experiences are more raw. About 2 hours, sort of halfway between Ukraine and Warsaw, the border in Warsaw, in what was a shtetl called Kazimierz. Of course, all these shtetls are, the Jewish communities were destroyed by the Nazis, but it so happens that this area is in the mountains. And by the way, that town had a stone synagogue, so the building is still there, unlike the wooden synagogues that are primarily destroyed. And it's a museum. It's not a shul. It's a museum. It's a monument to people who aren't there anymore. In this town, the Warsaw Jewish community, however, it's in the mountains, bought a guest house that they could use for retreats. And in this guest house were 14 refugees. Now, we had gotten a call the day before that this busload was approaching the border. And as it turned out, they needed to come over on foot. And between midnight and 5 a.m. the morning before, they had come in and our drivers picked them up and waited for them and brought them to this guest house in Kazimierz. And this one particular family, we actually spoke, the member of the family that spoke English was an 18-year-old young lady. She'd been in college 2 weeks before. 2 weeks later, she's facing an uncertain future. And what she described, first of all, is that the father's mother had lived in Israel and had passed away just days before. And so instead of sitting Shiva, this family got word that a bus was leaving. They packed up what they could pack in 2 hours. She told me we closed the refrigerator with the food in it, closed the door and left. It was this girl, young lady, 18 years old, her mother, and 2 elderly grandparents, the parents of the mother, who had a very difficult trip and weren't well. And so they were waiting for the doctor, which we were calling the doctor and providing to them. And the doctor was going to determine if the parents were well enough to make the trip to Israel, this family would go and join other family members that they had in Israel. And if the parents could not survive a trip to Israel, they needed to figure out what to do. And what could that be? They might decide to try and become refugees in Europe. You have to give up your passport in order to do that. It's a huge decision. They could consider applying for residency elsewhere in the EU. They could think about going back to Ukraine. After all, their house and their belongings are there. And these are the kinds of decisions that families are faced with at a time of enormous emotional trauma and crisis. So we're providing for their physical needs, for their emotional needs. And as Amira said, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. Families like these, individuals will have needs that persist for years. And we will be there together with you, in partnership with you. And because you are here, we'll be there as well on your behalf to provide what's needed. So thank you for all you make possible.
Thank you, Ariel. And thank you, Amira. I would invite you to come back on screen as well. Both of your updates inspire so much hope as to what we can collectively do as a community to care for those who are in crisis. One of the questions that continues to come up in the conversations that we're having in the community, that Ariel, I would direct to you first, is you have this incredible network of humanitarian support, in the Ukraine and in the surrounding region. Can you talk a little bit about how the JDC's ability to react immediately in this moment of crisis is directly reliant on your ability and the work that you've been doing over the last, several decades in the region? How have you activated that? What has that looked like? How are you reorganizing resources and reappropriating resources? Can you just give us a sense of that?
Absolutely. Since World War II, JDC has accompanied the communities of Europe, the Jewish communities of Europe, in a rebirth from the ashes. To think in Poland, Germany, Romania, these are countries, these are places that were declared free of Jews by the Nazis. And yet we see tremendous rekindling and resurgence of Jewish life, and JDC has played a role in that literally since the war. For example, in Poland, the country director there, Karina, she's been JDC's country director in Poland for 30 years. And the woman that runs the JCC, and there's a Warsaw JCC, a vibrant place that I visited with a brunch on Sunday, with kids going to Sunday school. Agata is her name. Agata is a product of JDC programming in her youth. She went to Camp Sarvash. She's a product of investment, 20 years of investment that this Jewish you made in the Jewish community of Warsaw, just using that as an example, through your core support over decades and decades and decades. These people are there. So Agata, who runs the JCC in Warsaw, I was there on a Sunday when they have their big programs. But I was also there a few days before. She said, on Sunday, either we'll be having photography class in this room or we'll be hosting refugees in this room. I'm not sure. Either way, we're going to be here. And so that's sort of emblematic of every community resource, every community individual, the people that you and we together have invested in over all of these decades are deploying in favor of this work. Also, of course, as Amira said, all of us are moving our existing staff and anyone that can be deployed to the region who has the skills to help is being deployed, because the needs are mushrooming much greater than any existing staff on the ground could accommodate at this time.
Thank you. And Amira, the last time I was in Ukraine was in 2017 in Kyiv, and we had the privilege of visiting an incredible summer camp that was funded by the Jewish Agency. And we met with many of the leaders that Ariel is mentioning. Can you talk a little bit about how the Jewish Agency is working with those leaders, how we as a North American Jewish community have invested in collectively in partnership with the Jewish Agency and the Joint over the last several decades? How are you working with them? What are you providing for them in this time of need? How are you working with the institutions? The Jewish Agency has been instrumental in getting security grants out into facilities in Ukraine. What does that look like to help care for that infrastructure that we've been developing together for so long?
So I'll start with an anecdote, which I continue to be amazed by. So as part of a routine, we operate a huge educational effort in the former Soviet Union, including in Ukraine. Our summer camps, the Jewel of the Crown federations have been, a true supporter many years of that. So every year during winter break, we have a seminar for all the camp counselors. So we just had one in Budapest, where we had over 100 camp counselors, educators, which we develop and nurture to prepare themselves for the summer camp season and the educational work. It just happened that they ended their seminar on February 24th. And so out of the 100, 60 were from Russia and other countries, 40 were from Ukraine. You can imagine that they couldn't go back home. When I was less than a week ago in Hungary, I met those 40 people still in Budapest. They're still not able to go back home. And so 40 of our leaders are stuck there in Budapest, where their families are in Ukraine, where they're very concerned about them. We're helping some of them actually evacuate their parents and family members to unite with them in Hungary. But what I think is more moving for me is that they immediately turned into being volunteers, and they're all already working 12 hours a day, volunteering in all of those cross borders. So some of them went to Poland, and some of them to Romania, and some of them in Hungary. Some of them are populating our information station at the train station of Budapest, providing information to refugees that are coming. Some of them are working educationally with the kids in the different facilities that we have, operating kind of a summer camp there for them until they're, while they're in the facility. So one example really is how we turn those leaders to immediately become emergency, human resources on the ground in whatever areas their experts are. But more broadly, I'll say that we are in daily contact with dozens of the rabbis and community organizations all across the big cities and the periphery cities as well. In some areas, we're continuing virtual work. I can tell you that early on, we've evacuated 24 families of educational shlichim that we have in routine days in Ukraine, working in dozens of schools there. We had to evacuate them back to Israel as part of an instruction of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but they all continue to work virtually now and continue to provide educational settings and support to their kids and populations virtually. And at the same time, we're working with the leaders in the communities to help them in two areas. One is the security of those organizations from our experience in the past in 2014, where the last crisis took place, which was nothing like this one in the magnitude in Eastern Ukraine. What we learned is that those organizations have immediate need for some just emergency cash that they can use in order to protect their facilities, prevent from stealing and vandalism that could take place, and really somehow make sure that they could be there in the day after. And so we are providing them with emergency grants. We have provided already more than 60 communities and organizations with those security emergency grants. And we continue to map and assess the needs and provide those probably to over 100 community organizations in the next couple of days. And lastly, we're in daily contact and communication with the rabbis and the leaders to see wherever there are groups and families and individuals that are interested in evacuating and coming to the cross borders. So helping them both operationally and financially to make sure they're able to evacuate those people, as well as special cases of medical care. I can tell you that tomorrow, maybe I'm giving here some unknown information, but tomorrow we're gonna, in a huge effort, we're gonna help provide 4 shielded ambulances together with MADA, with Magen David Adom, to be sent to Ukraine and be able to join the efforts of evacuating people who need medical evacuation. And so we constantly work to provide safety means, evacuation abilities, and other forms to the local communities.
Thank you. We're definitely going to watch what happens with that. That's incredible. I mean, the work that both of you are talking about is truly and undoubtedly saving lives every hour and every day. Both of you have spoken about the evacuations, right? And so for those families who are evacuating, who want to go to Israel and make Aliyah, there's one process for that.
Zach, I must interrupt. As I'm sitting with you, I'm getting a WhatsApp this minute. I'll read it to you as I get it. Hi, Amira. I'm so horrified and saddened to update you. that the father of one of our summer camp counselors that is stuck in Budapest was just killed from a missile in Mariupol. We're doing everything we can to gather the information and see how can we be of assistance to the family and her. This is from 2 seconds ago. This is what we're dealing with. I can't believe.
Oh, it's tragic. Thank you for sharing that in real time. And we're obviously
Just
thinking
met
about,
that group a week ago.
we're thinking about them. Ariel, I'll direct this question for you. And Amira, if you want to answer after, that would be great. What is the process for working with those who are looking to evacuate? We're all seeing news reports, increasingly there are cities, Mariupol is one of them, that are surrounded, humanitarian corridors are limited, even when announced. What does that look like? How do you find out about these groups? How do you get them the resources that they need? And then how do you determine where they want to go next?
So, when I hear the phrase "a list of Jews," I immediately, it takes me to a bad place, historic bad place. But the fact is, there are life-saving lists of Jews. The Cheseds, Jewish organizations, synagogues, communities. And so what will happen, for example, is that, and we run hotlines, as I mentioned. Each Chesed has its hotline. These are now being centralized using technology so that they actually ring outside the country, where dozens of Russian-speaking volunteers can answer them. And so, so we may be in touch with a certain community that a bus is leaving, that we have found a bus, and a bus used to cost $4,000 and now it costs $12,000. That's part of the reality that's happening. We've got a bus. And also we send out thousands and thousands of text messages, SMS messages every day saying, here's the hotline number, you can call, you can be in touch. So be at the synagogue, the bus is leaving in 2 hours. But what has started happening, and Mariupol is perhaps the most devastated place, but also in the rest of the country, then we also hear from people who say, you said to get there in 2 hours, but you know what, there was shelling and I couldn't get there. And so we are also now on different trips picking people up at their homes, knowing where they are and ready to go. It's not so much like, well, I want to go to Israel, so I'll get on this bus. I want to stay in, I want to eventually come to Ukraine, I'll stay on that bus. It's really not like that. It's more like there's a bus, everyone gets on it, they get to whatever border is closest, and then if they want to make Aliyah, of course, Jaffe will serve them. If they have different needs and different decisions, JDC and other organizations will serve them. So it's not like there's an orderly sort of, I'll take the Jaffe bus, you take the JDC bus. It's like whatever bus there is, we'll call you, you get on it.
And I think that's such helpful context. And so, and I would ask Amira, to you, given that, how does the Jewish Agency work to identify who is eligible for Aliyah? In a humanitarian crisis, I think, we serve people and then we figure out how they're connected to community. How do you do that in the midst of such chaos and horror? What does that process look like? How do you partner with the government to establish who's eligible for Aliyah?
Yes, I should say in all countries of the world except for former Soviet Union, we, the Jewish Agency, actually have the mandate on behalf of the government to check the eligibility and provide the eligibility approval. Former Soviet Union, for historical reasons, going back to the communism era and the challenge of attaining different documents, there is a specific government arm that deals with that and has the mandate called Lishkat HaKesher from the Prime Minister's office, Nativ. And so in regular days, the eligibility for any person coming from Ukraine would be going to a consulate of Nativ and bringing all the documents. And as per the law of return, as long as you can show that your third generation back, your grandmother or grandfather, any of those have been Jewish, then you're eligible. What we have been doing in the last 3 weeks is make sure that in all of our facilities at the cross borders, we will have Nativ consulate sits there. So when refugees arrive and stay in our facility in Warsaw, the consulates are there. So they can easily come and meet the consulates. But more so, I think we have achieved a huge breakthrough in the last couple of days with them. And I should commend Minister of Interior, Ariel Zwang, and the Authority of Immigration, whereby they have approved that Nativ would create a more expedite track of what we call a green track or a go-no-go track, where people would have to provide some very basic indication of having relatives in Israel or having some form of connectingness to the Jewish community. And in a relatively very short time, 20 minutes or so, that information could be checked, and then they would be provided with kind of a temporary approval to board a plane and come to Israel, and then complete the process in Israel. What that would enable is it would enable us to dramatically expedite the pace by which those refugees could leave the facilities and actually arrive in Israel, where they're provided with the first 30 days of full accommodation in a hotel that the government is paying, as well as medical insurance. And that would then enable them in more reasonable circumstances and easier circumstances to complete the process. We believe that that first go, no go would most likely create that the majority of those people would then be eligible in Israel, and the ones who won't could stay in Israel for up to 3 months as per the government policy, and from there make their decisions and to the next chapter. And so creating this quicker green track is dramatic. This is a decision from a few days ago that we're starting to implement now on the ground. And hopefully that would make things much, much easier than in regular days. I should say that along with Ukraine, the tension in the area is already creating a huge rise of demand of Aliyah also from Russia and Belarus that we're monitoring very carefully. And we would probably have to engage the government into looking into some special tracks and arrangements also for them. So the whole region is kind of under flux, and the implications we believe would turn to be a wave of tens of thousands of Olim coming not only from Ukraine, but also from those other countries.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, Ariel. You mentioned earlier, the sanctions in Russia. And so looking forward, what type of projections in terms of, the rising need that exists in a very significant Jewish population, do you think, is going to be coming into the joint in terms of service? What does that look like over the next, 2 months, 6 months, year from now?
Oh, that's a big question. I mean, here again, JDC serves 80,000 elders. And even though we're hearing huge evacuation numbers, 3 million people evacuated, for example, have refugee numbers, that's based on an underlying population of 43 million people. So you're talking about 7%, something like that. So if you think about it, even if that doubled, which it could, you're still talking about 80% or some very significant fraction of people remaining. So I think for us, some of the issues that present themselves are those who remain likely are the poorest, sickest, and in greatest need, very likely. And that, in Ukraine, even if the war stopped now, the devastation is unimaginable already. I mean, Oksana, who's one of our representatives in Ukraine, she's from Kiev. And I'm getting confused if it's Kiev or Kharkov. I'm sorry, but she grew up there. She formed her Jewish identity there. She went to college and she said the hill has been bombed. So, you know, the fabric of Jewish life, even though the Jews largely may still be there, is changed in dramatic ways. And so, you know, what we're looking at is major waves of refugees in Europe and beyond, but also for those who are still there, major need. And that will not be able to be finished being ameliorated in months.
So clearly, and this will be the last question, and then we'll wrap up. Clearly, the need is incredible. I think the outpouring of support from this community and from Jewish communities across the country has been incredible. Obviously, money is important. Money allows services to happen on the ground. What else can people do in Washington to help enable your efforts? Certainly, the donation piece is important. What else can people do? What else do you need in order to continue your work?
Who do you want to start?
Well,
Your turn.
So I want to reiterate something I've said and Ariel said, and I'm sure she'll echo me as well. I want to be very clear and say that the core support that you provide, both of our organizations, I take the liberty to speak on your behalf in that sense, Ariel, as well, is so critical. One should not underestimate really our ability to be out there, to gain the trust of the leaders of the communities, to run those complex operations is only based on the fact that we've been there for so long, each of our organizations in our own expert area. And so that core support continues to be critical. And of course, additional resources to attain those additional costs, which are huge in their magnitude, but are critical. But I want to say along that two things. One, I think, is that telling the story and being able to engage wider circles of your community donors, and I would say people just to be, to be engaged, to be emotionally proud of the fact that we as the Jewish people are fulfilling Kol Yisrael Erevim Ze Lazeh, in this moment of history in a way that I think we haven't done for many years. And use that as a way to strengthen the engagement, the commitment to being part of a community, the commitment to being part of this, Jewish narrative. And that would be a great help, I think, to you as communities, but to us as a broader Jewish family, and probably nurture also the next generations of support. The other thing is that we are currently deploying many volunteers in many ways all across. We are exploring what would be opportunities to engage also volunteers from communities, not only from Israel. Of course, there's different, needs and qualifications, mainly being Russian speakers. But we are in need with people, with social work background, with post-trauma background, with some other areas. And so I hope that soon we'll be able to share that, and maybe that could serve as another way for people to feel that they can take part of. And of course, in whatever way you have relationships with Ukrainian, people who have either left Ukraine at some point and came to your community, or in relatives in Israel, just spread the word out there that all of us as organizations are out there willing to help, access people to our emergency lines, both ours and the JDC's, and use the network to spread the word that we are there, that the Jewish people is there to take care of them and provide them some safe future. And by that, both engage people to be active, but also expand our way to bring the impact, more broadly.
thank you. Ariel, Amira, thank you for your incredible leadership, for everything that you and your colleagues are doing at the Jewish Agency and the Joint. I can't help but think that when you're speaking, you are continuing to make the impossible possible. When millions of people are running in one direction, you are running in the other. As a community, we are incredibly grateful for the tireless efforts of you and your colleagues. So thank you for being such wonderful partners and for being such wonderful representatives of the Greater Washington Jewish community on the ground in the region.
Thank you for your partnership in making this work possible.
And to everyone, thank you for joining in. Continue to stay tuned for critical updates, and we're so grateful for all of your continued support. Take care.
Thank you.